You've been doing it all along. Every thought, every emotion, every breath you take isn't just happening inside you, it's happening through the field around you. Most people never realize they're already influencing energy. They're doing it unconsciously, scattered, unfocused, unaware. And when you're unaware, the results feel random, chaotic, unpredictable. But everything changes the moment you wake up to it. The moment you understand that the external world is nothing more than a mirror reflecting the vibration you're broadcasting. That's when life starts to shift in ways that feel almost supernatural. Here's the truth most people miss. You are not separate from the energy you're trying to influence. You're immersed in it. You are an extension of the very field you're attempting to shape. And that field is responding, not to your words, not to your effort, but to your state of being. This is the subconscious connection. The invisible current running beneath everything you think, say, and do. Pause for a moment. Think about the last time something happened that felt perfectly timed, a coincidence, an unexpected opportunity, an intuitive knowing that turned out to be right. Those weren't accidents. They were quantum responses, ripples in the field reacting to the frequency you were emitting, whether you were aware of it or not. And here, where it becomes even more fascinating. It's not your conscious mind that does the real work. It's your subconscious. Your subconscious doesn't care what you say you want. It responds to what you genuinely believe, what you consistently feel, and what you automatically expect. That's why empty affirmations fall flat. That's why visualizing through doubt collapses the signal. Because the subconscious is the back door to the field, and until that door is unlocked, you're just decorating the front porch. Quantum events are not magic tricks. They are the natural result of interactions between your inner world and the quantum fabric of reality. Think of it this way. Your thoughts send out the signal. Your emotions magnetize it. Your subconscious alignment determines the clarity. Together, they either create interference, static that cancels out your intention, or coherence, a clean, powerful instruction to the field. So the question isn't whether you're manipulating energy. It's how skillfully you're doing it. Look around your life right now. Everything, your circumstances, your relationships, the opportunities that appear or the ones that don't, is a direct reflection of the signals you've been broadcasting up to this very moment. Set a clear intention, not from desperation, but from trust. Picture the outcome you want, feel the emotion of already having it, and let your body memorize that state. The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. You stop chasing reality and you start magnetizing it. People often ask, how long does it take to see results? The better question is, how long are you willing to practice coherence until it becomes who you are, not just what you do? Because when this alignment becomes your default, the field has no choice but to respond. Now, I want to pause here and invite you into something important. If this message is resonating with you, if you're starting to feel that inner click, that sense of this is what I've been missing, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. Not because I'm asking for numbers, but because this space is designed to help you stay in resonance with these ideas. And if you're ready to take this conversation deeper, share with me in the comments. What's one area of your life where you feel most out of coherence right now? It doesn't have to be a confession or a weakness. Think of it as a doorway, the entry point where transformation can begin. And when you name it, you begin to loosen its grip. So let's carry this forward. You've now understood the difference between scattered energy and aligned energy. But the next layer is where things get really interesting, because coherence alone isn't enough. There's a deeper mechanism in play, a dance between you and the field that determines whether your intentions collapse into actual events. You're about to discover the hidden architecture behind quantum manifestation, the mechanics of probability, expectation, and wave collapse. We're going to explore how small shifts inside you ripple outward and reorganize the very fabric of your reality. Stay with me, because we'll uncover why some people experience quantum leaps and synchronicities effortlessly, while others feel stuck in the same loops no matter how hard they try. So now you know coherence is your access point. But alignment alone is only part of the equation. To truly influence the field, you need to understand the dance of probability, the invisible game happening beneath every moment of your life. Because here's the secret most people overlook. The universe doesn't deliver your desires just because you want them. It delivers what you're tuned to expect. Let me explain. In quantum physics, we talk about wave functions or possibilities that exist simultaneously until something collapses them into a single outcome. At the subatomic level, reality is a shimmering soup of probabilities waiting to crystallize into form. But what collapses the wave? What decides which version of reality becomes the one you experience? The observer. Not the passive observer, not the one watching life from the sidelines, but the active observer, the one whose focus, expectation, and belief act as the needle that weaves potential into form. And this is where most people get stuck. They practice their visualizations. They set their intentions. They repeat their affirmations. But underneath all of it, they carry an invisible script of doubt, fear, and limitation. They look at their bank account and expect lack. They look at their relationships and expect rejection. They look at their body and expect failure. And so the field obliges, not because it's punishing them, but because it's responding to the dominant signal. Your conscious mind can say, "I'm abundant." But if your subconscious is running the program, there's never enough. The field listens to the deeper broadcast. This is why so many people feel stuck. Even when they're doing all the right things, they're trying to override the subconscious with surface-level rituals without addressing the core expectations shaping their field. Here, where the real magic begins. When you start aligning not just your thoughts but your beliefs and assumptions, you begin to shift probabilities in the quantum field. Tiny changes in how you hold yourself, how you think, how you feel, these are the levers that tip reality in your favor. You don't have to overhaul your life overnight. You just have to create enough momentum that the wave function begins to tilt toward your desired outcome. Imagine you're walking through a hallway lined with doors. Each door represents a possible version of the next moment, the next day, the next chapter. You don't open all of them, you open the one you expect to open. And that expectation is shaped by your dominant state, your subconscious story, your felt sense of possibility. This is why people who shift internally often experience sudden, unexpected external changes. They've altered the baseline probability, and the universe has no choice but to reorganize itself to match. But here's the catch. Expectation isn't something you can fake. You can't chant "I'm wealthy" while secretly feeling terrified of your bills and expect the field to reward you. The field isn't fooled by words, it listens to vibration. So the real work becomes softening the grip of limiting assumptions, loosening the knots of resistance, and gradually training your body, mind, and heart to hold a new baseline of possibility. What does that look like in practice? It looks like noticing when you shrink in fear and breathing through it instead of collapsing. It looks like catching yourself expecting the worst and choosing, even for a moment, to imagine the best. It looks like rehearsing success in your nervous system, not just in your mind. And over time, something shifts. The probability field begins to reorganize. Events align. Synchronicities stack. Doors you didn't even know existed swing open. Not because you forced the universe into submission, but because you became a clear enough signal for the version of reality you wanted to live. Now let's pause here. Can you feel what's stirring inside you? Can you sense the places where your old expectations have been quietly shaping your life without your permission? Good, that awareness is the doorway. Because what we're about to explore next is the paradox at the heart of all of this. The reason why so many people sabotage their own manifestation efforts without realizing it. It's the missing piece that turns scattered attempts at change into profound, stable shifts. What if I told you that the real key isn't control, but surrender? Stay with me because in the next part, we're going to uncover why letting go paradoxically gives you more influence over the field than trying to dominate it ever could. Let's move forward. Here, where most people get it backwards. We've been taught to hustle, to push, to grind our way toward the life we want. And while that can get you results in the material world, it creates friction when you apply it to the quantum field. Why? Because the field doesn't respond to force, it responds to alignment. And alignment often feels like surrender. Now let me be clear. Surrender is not resignation. It's not giving up on what you want. It's not passivity or laziness. True surrender is releasing the need to micromanage how your desires come to life. It's trusting the intelligence of the field to organize the details while you hold the frequency of your outcome. Think of it like planting a seed. You don't yank it out of the ground every day to see if it's growing. You tend the soil, you water it, you trust the process. And the paradox is, the less you interfere with anxious, grasping energy, the faster things bloom. When you surrender, you stop sending mixed signals. You stop saying, "I trust," while secretly obsessing over the outcome. You stop pretending to let go while energetically clinging. And when you truly release control, the subconscious connection, the back door to the field, opens wider than ever. This is the art of surrendered influence. Here, what most people miss. Your subconscious can't be bullied into alignment. You can't force yourself into coherence, but you can invite it. You can create conditions where your nervous system relaxes, your breath deepens, your heart softens, and your energy stops vibrating in desperation. When you do this, something magical happens. You stop being the seeker, and you become the signal. You stop chasing and you start drawing. You stop trying to manifest, and you become the embodiment of what you desire. And the field, it listens. It reorganizes. It delivers. Not as a reward, but as a mirror. There's a deep trust woven into the heart of quantum creation. It's the trust that says, if I align, the universe aligns. I embody, reality reshapes. If I become, the world reflects. But here's the challenge. Surrender feels unnatural to a mind trained in control. We want timelines, guarantees, evidence. We want to know when and how things will happen. Yet the more you demand certainty, the more you slip into resistance. The tighter you grip, the more the field tightens in response. So the work becomes paradoxical. You set the intention. You align the vibration. And then you release. You stop micromanaging the timeline. You stop panicking over the details. You stop shrinking every time reality tests you. And this, ironically, gives you more power than you ever had while trying to control every step. People often ask me, how do I know if I'm surrendered or if I've just given up? The answer is simple. Surrender feels open. Resignation feels heavy. Surrender feels light in the body. Resignation feels like collapse. Surrender keeps you available to possibility. Resignation shuts the door on magic. So here's what I want you to reflect on as we prepare to close this loop. Where are you still trying to force outcomes in your life? Where are you gripping so tightly that the energy can't move? And what would it feel like, just as an experiment, to soften your hold and trust the process? Because here's the truth most people never hear. The universe is wired to support coherence. The field wants to align with you. Life is biased toward evolution, expansion, creation. When you get out of the way, you're not abandoning your power, you're stepping into a deeper current of it. And now, as we move into the final section, we're going to bring everything together. We've explored the subconscious connection. We've looked at coherence. We've understood the mechanics of probability and wave collapse. We've unpacked the paradox of surrender. But none of it matters unless you embody it. In the next section, we'll explore what it means to live as the signal, not just occasionally, not just when you're meditating or visualizing, but as your default state. This is where you stop trying to create quantum events and start becoming the quantum event. We're almost there. Are you ready to integrate all of this into the way you move through life? Let's continue. Now you understand. You're not here to learn how to control energy, you're here to become it. Because energy responds to energy. The field responds to signal. And quantum events, they don't come to those who chase. They come to those who match. When you walk through life as the signal, embodied, coherent, surrendered, the field doesn't hesitate. It organizes itself around you. Circumstances rearrange. Timelines shift. People enter. Doors open. Not because you forced it. Not because you earned it. But because you finally stopped pretending to be separate from the current that has always been flowing through you. This is what it means to live as the quantum event, not as a theory, not as a practice you visit once a day in meditation, but as a baseline state, a way of being that says, I know who I am. I know what I'm aligned with. I know what I've come to signal into this world. You stop second-guessing. You stop asking for permission. You stop waiting for proof before you believe. Because belief is the proof. Identity is the engine. Vibration is the invitation. You don't create from lack. You don't visualize from fear. You don't manifest from maybe. You radiate. And what you radiate becomes inevitable. Let's ground this for a moment. Living as the signal doesn't mean you never wobble. It doesn't mean you never feel doubt, frustration, or sadness. It means those states don't dominate anymore. They don't define your vibration. They pass through, but they don't take root. You know who you are beneath them. And that's what the field responds to. Think of yourself like a lighthouse. It doesn't chase ships. It just stands tall, anchored in its own frequency, pulsing a signal through the storm. That's your job. That's the practice. Not to control the waves, but to become the steady light in the middle of them. When you live this way, something changes. People around you feel it. They don't know why, but they feel safer near you, inspired, activated. Opportunities start to arrive out of nowhere. Synchronicities become daily. The right words come to you at the right time. You'll begin to sense that life is responding to you, not reacting, not resisting, not withholding, but listening and reflecting back the energy you now carry. And you'll realize something even more powerful. You've always been this. You just forgot. You forgot that your subconscious is not a storage unit of trauma. It's a broadcast tower of vibration. You forgot that coherence isn't just a nice concept. It's the switch that turns your reality on. You forgot that letting go isn't giving up. It's stepping aside so the field can do what it already knows how to do. You forgot that your very presence is a signal. And now you remember. So what happens now? Now you walk differently. You breathe differently. You speak as someone who's not asking for reality to change, but inviting it into alignment with what's already true. You no longer try to become something. You remember that you already are it. The field doesn't need your effort. It needs your signal. And if you take nothing else from this video, let it be this. The version of you that lives the life you dream of is not somewhere else. It's not in the future. It's not on the other side of endless healing or hustling or earning. That version is in the field right now, entangled with you, waiting for you to stop pretending you're not already connected. So the real question becomes, Will you choose to tune to it fully, unapologetically, and consistently until it becomes the most natural thing in the world? Because when you do, the quantum responds. Drop a word in the comments that describes your next shift. It can be trust, flow, release, or anything that feels right. Your word becomes part of your signal. And if this touched you, hit subscribe. Let's keep growing together. Remember this, you are not here to chase change. You are here to become it. And the moment you do, the universe moves with you.